I'm Brian Penny of Brewster, Massachusetts. You're tuned to the International Radio Report. 30 minutes of news about radio on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal.
Welcome, everyone, to the International Radio Report for Sunday, February the 9th, 2025, Super Bowl day, if you're a football fan out there. My name's Sheldon. I'm here with Jill, and we have a third co-host on the show this morning. It is Mickey Delmage out in Sherwood Park, Alberta. Nice to have you with us today. So we have a couple quick reminders to pass along to start off the show today. First off, we talked last week about Super Bowl, and we gave you some of the places where you can go and listen to it if you're not around a TV set and you want to just catch it on the radio or what have you. So Westwood One stations in the US, TSN network across Canada, tied into CTV television, etc. And SiriusXM, we were looking for more information on what they'd be doing. I know they do a whole bunch of channels and stuff every year. I really just haven't had the chance to go and explore them all. But if you're a SiriusXM subscriber, usually have a lot of options available on their service as well. So enjoy the game. If you've got a party going on, it's always a lot of fun. I know we're doing that. Jill, you have something going on as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, so it's a good day. Enjoy it. We'll see how the coverage goes and see how the results are. It's a bit of it's a toss-up this year, I think. It should be kind of fun. The other reminder, we want to talk to you about the World Radio Day, and that is coming up. We've been talking about it for several weeks. We did receive some news from our own station here at CKUT. They have decided to participate in an event going on with the National Campus Community Radio Association. And they're connecting up with them. They're going to do some PSAs and work on some projects together with them. So you can check that out if you want to see what CKUT is up to. And CKUT is part of the National Campus Community Radio Association. So they will probably be doing things in different parts of the country as well. So check out your own radio stations around the world, see what's going on. And if you haven't done so already and you get the urge, contact your local radio station and say, hey guys, big day coming up by UNESCO, World Radio Day. What are you guys doing about it? Chances are they might not know anything about it. And so you can fill them in on it and direct them to the website. And finally, we have some more information for you about the 38th annual NASWA SWL Festival, which will be taking place April 25th and 26th, 2025. It will be a hybrid event, both in person and Zoom. It's all of the information so far is available on the website, swlfest.com, and you can register there. And you can also get hotel information if you're planning on attending in person. So we'll have all the links up there for you on that. The hotel is located in Fort Washington, Pennsylvania, not too far from Philadelphia. And they do have a maximum of 65 people that they can have fit into the facility in person. So get your registrations in early. And CIDX will be hosting the hospitality suite on Zoom each year, as we've done for the past few years. So we look forward to seeing people there. We'll have more information as the forum schedules start to get put together in the weeks ahead. So be looking forward to that.
Yeah, join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. So in our next news item, we have Sabrina Carpenter and Shaboozey, Top 2024 in-car radio listening. This is by Nick Langan of Radio World. Radio listeners sought out new emerging artists in 2024. That's according to data provided by Xperi's DTS AutoStage, the connected car platform available in approximately 10 million vehicles across 150 countries. Xperi released its in-car listening report for the fourth quarter of 2024. Stations provide artist and song title data via its broadcaster portal, and the information will display via AutoStage. Sabrina Carpenter, Shaboozey, and Teddy Swims, all new to the top music scene in the last year. held spots longer in the top 5 quarterly lists than mainstays like Taylor Swift and Beyoncé. Shaboozey's bar song Tipsy was the most listened to song in both the US and globally in the fourth quarter of 2024, while Carpenter's Espresso was second. So the top 5 most listened to songs in vehicles in the US for the fourth quarter of 2024, according to DDS AutoStage data. Number 1 is Shaboozey with bar song Tipsy. 2 is Sabrina Carpenter, Espresso. 3, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Die With A Smile. 4th is Billie Eilish, Birds of a Feather. And 5 is Teddy Swims, Lose Control. So Lose Control from Swims was the most listened to song overall in the US and globally for 2024. And you have a little bit more information about that, Mickey.
Yeah, being the follower of pop music in the top 40, it's interesting to see a lot of the artists now, they branch out, they cross over their genres, not just pop, but they country, as we all know, some country artists of pop stars have won some country Grammy awards recently. As for the bar song in Tipsy, this fellow he's a rapper born in Virginia. You know, like any country song, when you incorporate in your lyrics anything about booze, you're going to go straight to number 1. And that's what happened with this song. As for Sabrina Carpenter and Espresso, she's born in Pennsylvania, and she is a straight pop singer and sounds a little bit like the Spice Girls. So she got her influence from them. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, no need to introduce them, stars in their own right, and they've collaborated for their duo, Die With A Smile, and very much, you know, the male-female type back and forth type of song. As for Billie Eilish, she was born in Los Angeles to actor parents Maggie Baird and Patrick O'Connell, and she's a pure pop writer for today's youth. So this song Feather really attracts today's youth. And finally, Teddy Swims and Lose Control. He was born in Georgia. He's a soul, pop, C&W kind of guy. And this song I've heard many times, not my favorite, but very soulful type of artist in this particular song that is attracting so much attention on the planet today.
We also have the top 5 most listened to songs in Vehicle Global 2024, according to DDS AutoStage data. And the number 1 is Teddy Swims, Lose Control. Number 2, Shaboozey, bar song, Tipsy. Number 3, Sabrina Carpenter, Espresso. Number 4 is Dua Lipa with Houdini. And number 5, Tate McRae with Greedy. So a little more info on that?
Yeah, well, the top 3 we already talked about, but number 4, Dua Lipa. She was born in London, England, and has also Albanian background. And she's had many hits around the world. And this one, Houdini, is doing very well, as did, you might be familiar with Cold Heart, which was a collaboration with Elton John and an Australian dance group remix. And Elton John in the 2000s would have never thought he was back on the pop charts, but he did reach number 1 with Dua Lipa. And finally, we have Tate McRae, born in Calgary, Alberta, good Canadian girl, up and coming Canadian star. She will be a rising star around the world, as she is with this song Greedy. And interesting thing on the video, she's seen driving around on a Zamboni. And for those that don't know what a Zamboni is, it's the ice resurfacing machine on any, NHL ice or ice skating rink. And she's also seen dancing. She's a good dancer, and seen dancing in the dressing room of hockey, and very, very good Canadian. And she will be an up and coming, like I mentioned earlier, star for Canada.
Thank you for that, Nikki. So the other noticeable trend in the past year was the fusing of genres. Rapper Shaboozey dominated the country charts, as did Beyoncé with Texas Hold'em, and Post Malone's I Had Some Help. Tyler's R&B song Water also cross multiple formats. The solo artist was also a focal point. Xperi said just 2 collaborations made its top 5 in 2024, third and fourth quarters, with no bands or groups appearing. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars' throwback adult contemporary hit Die With A Smile was a song that bucked this trend. So it's interesting because it is indeed curious to see artists moving to a different genre that they've been tagged with in the past.
Yeah, it happened before when CDs first came out, and there was more time you could put on a album. I remember Fleetwood Mac kind of dabbling with country and stuff like that, but not in the way it is. The crossovers happening now with some of these like rappers being number 1 on the country chart now. With the Tipsy song, of course. That's in its own right.
I think I am very proud to say, and this is 100% honest, I have never heard any one of those songs. Honestly, I just do not know who these people are. It's not my kind of music. Even if they are crossing over, I don't want to hear Beyonce singing country songs. I'm sorry, but it's just not in my ballpark. So, I'm sure a lot of people like this stuff, but I guess I'm just too old for all of this stuff. But
well, what I say about it, if these artists are also writers, they're songwriters. If you can write a song that you've got the whole world listening to and tapping their toes to, all the power to them.
I'll ask the question: how many of these people can actually perform the same songs live? Because that's another thing that really bugs me is lip syncing that's going on out there. It's horrendous. I'm afraid what AI is going to do too. We've been talking about AI with radio, and we got a lot of weird things happening out there. We'll see where it all ends up.
Yeah. Well, most of these artists that do perform live also dance. And so it's a very interesting, way things are going now. And they can, they write the songs, so they got to, like you've seen Lady Gaga play the piano. She can do it.
Well, yeah.
It's not...
Lady Gaga, I have some, I think she's extremely talented. This particular song, though, I just don't know. So, anyways,
it's just your typical male-female back and forth kind of song that we've all grown up with. It's nothing new, I would say.
All right. On we go. Back to some stuff going on in the U.S. And this is the U.S. Agency for Global Media Networks reached record global audiences in the fiscal year 2024. This comes from the USAGM press release via the Association for International Broadcasting. The U.S. Agency for Global Media's network reached a record 427 million weekly measured global audience in fiscal year 2024, as documented in the agency performance report released this week. The agency's audience nearly doubled in the last decade, according to nationally representative surveys measuring the reach and impact of the 5 journalistic entities that USAGM oversees. They are Voice of America, Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, the Office of Cuba Broadcasting, Radio and Television Marti, Radio Free Asia, and the Middle East Broadcasting Network. This year's findings underscore the success of USAGM's networks in informing, engaging, and connecting audiences, even in the most challenging environments. Despite a recent military coup in Niger, VOA reaches more than 45% of adults in the country each week in multiple languages. In a difficult year of conflict in the Middle East, MBN continues to provide a high-quality Arabic language alternative to polarized local media, registering strong growth in Algeria and Jordan. In Latin America, VOA reaches 100 million people across the region in Spanish by working in partnership with some of the most important local and regional media outlets. RFERL and Voice of America together reach more than 34% of Ukrainian adults each week, almost 45% of Armenians, and a quarter of Serbians, countering Russian malign influence across Eastern Europe and Eurasia with truthful reporting. Research with Russian and Mandarin-speaking global diasporas and on Marti's audience outside Cuba found new international audiences for these stations outside the network's traditional target markets. This strategy for reaching audiences is important as China joins a growing list of restrictive markets, including North Korea and Eritrea, where USAGM is unable to measure audiences. The new report emphasizes USAGM networks' value to their audiences. Their research shows that well over 80% of each network's audience reports finding their content trustworthy, and more than 65% say the network's reporting informs their opinions on important issues. USAGM's broadcast entities operate across a range of media platforms, innovating to reach audiences in ways they prefer to consume news. The Open Technology Fund, a USAGM grantee, is a key driver of these efforts, providing circumvention technology to tens of millions of users in countries where the internet is censored, such as Iran, Russia, China, Burma or Myanmar, and more. Despite the challenges of censorship and the constantly shifting social media landscape, USAGM networks recorded 334 million video views each week for digital content in 2024. This remarkable audience growth shows just how impactful, truthful, independent journalism is to so many people around the world, said Amanda Bennett, the USAGM CEO. Amid mounting global challenges to press freedom, our network's growing reach and audiences' reach, increased trust in the content they provide, proves an enduring demand for the independent, objective reporting of our entities and the tireless dedication of our journalists that goes into it. The USAGM Fiscal Year 2024 Agency Performance Report, as well as the USAGM Audience and Impact Overview, which summarizes the agency's key performance highlights for 2024, can be found at usagm.gov. That's the way it was in 2024. Is it going to be that way in 2025? That remains to be seen. There are lots of changes going on in the U.S. broadcasting scene, particularly these services. Some of them may not exist anymore. Some may be cut drastically. We really don't know at this point in time. There's a lot of theories going on out there. People within these services are very concerned. And the impact that that's going to have on those audiences is going to be major if that's, in fact, what does happen and some of those services disappear.
Yeah, it's extremely important for these to stay up. I mean, more than ever, we need various sources of news. With the way the world is going, we're just looking at Africa that has so many conflicts right now, and we need to have this hopefully still going on, and let's hope for the best. So what's happening with our sun? Well, our sun was very active this week. There was actually one sunspot, group 3981, that released more than 20 M-class solar flares during the week. And we were actually thinking that maybe even a X-flare could happen, but some of them got close, but never really reached that strength. Propagation conditions for the week ahead, well, there's still that sunspot, but it's slowly moving off the solar disk, so things might quiet down actually during the week. The sunspot number is 169, the solar flux 188, and good news, we'll continue to have even more accurate space weather because the new GOES 19 satellite is now going to be starting taking pictures of the sun every 15 minutes. And it will help follow when coronal mass ejections happen and have a better idea of dangerous conditions that could happen, or, if we have geomagnetic storms and auroras. So that will be even more accurate. And but we'll still have the SOHO Observatory that will still be there. It's been there for 30 years. This is just incredible. It will also continue its space science. But to witness what's happening with propagation, well, you got to have a radio, and you got to turn it on.
This is John Fisher of North Chelmsford, Massachusetts. I listen to the International Radio Report every Sunday morning at 10:30 on CKUT 90.3 FM in the fair city of Montreal.
In our next news item, Turkish Radio and TV joins Arab States Broadcasting Union TRT press release via the Association for International Broadcasting. TRT, Turkey's public service media, has strengthened its international presence by becoming an associate member of the Arab States Broadcasting Union, the ASBU. The decision was made unanimously during ASBU's 44th General Assembly held in Tunis on January 15, 2025, with nearly 200 delegates in attendance. ASBU, a prominent organization comprising 41 members, categorizes its membership into active members, participating members, and associate members. While active membership is exclusive to Arab countries, TRT's inclusion as an associate member reflects its growing influence in the region. That status allows TRT to actively engage in ASBU's General Assembly meetings, participate in committees, and contribute to the union's initiatives, fostering collaboration and knowledge sharing among members. In addition to contributing its expertise, TRT will gain access to ASBU's renowned news exchange network and opportunities such as participation in the Arab Radio and Television Festival. These platforms will enhance TRT's ability to connect with audiences across the Arab world. Turkish dramas, including TRT's globally celebrated series Dirilis Ertugrul, have already achieved significant popularity in Arab countries. With its membership in ASBU, TRT is poised to deepen cultural ties and expand co-production opportunities with broadcasters in the region. Founded in 1969 in Khartoum, Sudan, ASBU has its headquarters in Tunis, where it hosts its annual General Assembly. The organization aims to strengthen relationships among Arab broadcasting organizations, enhance content production, provide technical and consultancy services, and facilitate news and media exchanges. ASBU is also a key member of the World Broadcasting Union, further amplifying the influence on the global stage. TRT's inclusion in ASBU adds to its growing portfolio of international partnerships. The broadcaster is also a member of prestigious organizations such as the European Broadcasting Union, the African Union of Broadcasting, the Mediterranean Center for Audiovisual Communication, the Permanent Conference of the Mediterranean Audiovisual Operators, the Association for International Broadcasting, and the Asia-Pacific Broadcasting Union, where it holds the presidency since 2023. These memberships underscore TRT's commitment to fostering global collaboration and strengthening its position as a leading voice in international broadcasting. So lots of changes at the Turkish broadcaster. We have already seen also changes on shortwave, which we're not totally sure what is going to happen. But I guess it's good to have a lot of collaboration around with all of these organizations.
Our final story today is expanding more on the situation going on in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Journalists covering Eastern DRC conflict face death threats and censorship. This comes from the Committee to Protect Journalists Africa program staff. The M23 rebel group's assault on the Democratic Republic of Congo's eastern city of Goma has brought familiar dangers to Congolese journalists who for years have navigated intimidation and attacks from government and armed groups in the country's restive, mineral-rich east. Advances by the M23, which United Nations experts say is supported by Rwandan military, charges Rwanda has denied, in combat against DRC government forces have intensified authorities' efforts to control reporting about the conflict. DRC ministers have accused journalists of supporting terrorism and reporting on rebel advances, suspended the Qatari-based Al Jazeera, withdrawn accreditation for the broadcaster's reporters, and threatened to suspend other media outlets. At the same time, journalists in Goma have told a Committee to Protect Journalists that they are concerned with the safety. At least 3 reporters have received threatening messages. Right groups have warned that civilians are at heightened risk of violence and called for their protection. They go on to say that Reporters Without Borders states that the security situation in the city of Goma is deteriorating and journalists can no longer report. The media has been forced into silence. There is no stable access to electricity or the internet. Reporters Without Borders is urgently alerting the international community to this crisis in the DRC and calling on the parties involved in conflict to respect and protect the public's right to information. So there are many threats. A lot of the journalists have been reporting that they are receiving these threats. It's dangerous to be out on the streets. There was a report earlier this week of 900 bodies were cleaned off the streets of Goma. It's a horrible situation going on over there. I think this really stresses the need for services from outside the country to be broadcast into the country, and that takes shortwave broadcasting. It sounds like a broken record, but we keep talking about this, and we seem to understand it, and yet some of the broadcasters out there, for whatever reason, whether it's lack of money or deciding that people just don't use shortwave anymore and they'll hear us on the internet or whatever. I doubt there's too many people listening to anything on the internet, the DRC right now. So this story just scratches the surface, but you can imagine the pressure that journalists are under in a situation like that.
Yeah, and I think, the population is in need of knowing what's happening. I mean, I can just imagine how horrible it must be to be there and have all of that tension going on, not knowing the future. And broadcasters are there to help you out, and sometimes they're even to change the course of things. So hopefully, shortwave outlets will continue to help out in those regions. So we have upcoming ham radio contests.
I have a few things for you coming up. One is marking Valentine's Day. It is the Penn Ohio DX Society. They're having their PODXS 070 Club Valentine Sprint. It is 24 hours, 0000 to 2359 Zulu, February the 14th. The purpose, to work as many stations on 40, 80, and 160 meters as possible, but using the digital mode of PSK 31.
There's the American Radio Relay League that has the International DX Contest CW from 0000 Zulu February 15th to 2359 Zulu February 16th. The objective, to encourage WNV stations, that's US and Canadian stations, to expand knowledge of DX propagation on the HF and the medium frequency bands, improve operating skills, and improve station capability by creating a competition in which DX stations may only contact WNVE stations. The bands 160 through 10 meters without the work bands, and it's CW. And with this, we're out of time.
It's gone by quickly. Thank you, Mickey, for joining us here today and giving me some insight into those artists that I've never listened to. But thank you for being with us.
I'll sign off with that with a comment about the USGM. They must feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, and that's from Katy Perry.
Very good. There you go. All right. We thank you for tuning in to us today. We're here every Sunday morning at 10:30 Eastern, 15:30 UTC. If you'd like to reach us, our email address is radioreport@yahoo.com. Our show live streams and is archived at ckut.ca. We have a very active Facebook group. We'd love for you to join. Look for International Radio Report on Facebook. And you can catch our show anytime you like on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/@IRR, and we do invite you to subscribe to it. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy Super Bowl later today, and we'll talk to you again next Sunday on the International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Have a good week.